border crisis. Representative Kay Granger makes her first appearance on Lone Star Politics. For more than 17 years now, Congresswoman Kay Granger has represented the 12th Congressional District. It includes the western half of Tarrant County and all of Wise and Parker counties. She's going to face 3 opponents in the November election: Democrat Mark Green, Libertarian Ed Culliver, and Independent Harrison Lee Whitaker. Congresswoman, thanks for coming by Lone Star Politics. Always a pleasure. As always, Gomer Jeffers from the Dallas Morning News here as well.
Good to see you, Kevin. Congresswoman, you make up the, you head up the Republican task force to assess the border crisis. When will you all make recommendations on this issue?
We've been working with the leadership as we decide certain policies and reach consensus. So we've been telling them how we're going, but probably Tuesday that'll be official.
In fact, a few of your Texas colleagues already have issued some proposals. A bill from Senator John Cornyn and Congressman Henry Cuellar would allow Border Patrol agents to turn many of the children around quickly. Also calls for a deportation hearing within 7 days of filing an asylum claim. And currently, immigrant children wait 18 months or so to 5 years for a hearing, but that's not enough for Senator Ted Cruz. He wants to end deferred deportations. That's President Obama's policy, which grants work permits to hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought here illegally as children. So where do you stand on those proposals, and how will your working group recommendations differ from them?
One of the things we've tried to do is look at the bills like Cornyn and Cuellar, and they've already, in some cases, received a lot of support. And so we're, when it's possible, using those bills and those language, because they've already sort of been vetted. And we've said already said publicly, we're for more security at the border. So we're using some of Michael McCall's bill that's already gone through committee that said National Guard at the border, letting the Border Patrol go into federal lands if they're trying to apprehend people. We've used those in saying, let's turn this around as quickly as possible, have those children that can go back to their countries go back quickly.
Do you think there's room for enough common ground where your recommendations will be supported by the President?
I think that there will be some that he'll support, absolutely. There's a big difference in what we're recommending and what the President's doing, and that is the amount of money to be spent. He's assuming that the children would stay and stay for a long time, a year and a half to 5 years you're talking about. We're saying no, turn this around much more quickly, send them back home, which will cost us much less, but help the countries they're going back to be able to accept them.
So I assume you're against the $3.7 billion emergency proposal the President has out there?
Yes, I am. Now, we don't, though. We're not determining the money.
Right.
We're determining the policy.
Okay.
But I think, again, if you're assuming we're going to keep those children for another 5 to 7.5 years, there's a big difference there. We're not making that assumption. We're saying no,
and
make it faster.
Dallas County's plans to house 2,000 children, what do you think of that?
I wouldn't do that. I think we should, if we're going to do this, then we should keep them as close as possible, because I think we should have the ones that have come in now, turn them back as quickly as possible, because their countries had them and are better able to take care of them.
And finally, on this issue, you've been down to the border. Do you see this as part of the larger debate on illegal immigration, or is this just a separate crisis?
It's a separate crisis. It is a crisis. It is not the decision on immigration reform.
Let's quickly turn to what's happening over Ukraine and the downing of Malaysian aircraft. You serve, of course, on the Foreign Operations Appropriations Subcommittee. What can you tell us about what you're hearing and what your thoughts are?
We're hearing terrible situation. Over 300 people killed, including scientists. A number, maybe as many as 100, that were going to an AIDS conference that are some of the top scientists and physicians. It's a terrible situation. Also, it means no one can fly out of that area. So all flights are saying no one should be in that airspace. They're in danger.
Do you think there should be yet more sanctions against Russia now?
Absolutely.
Let's turn to something else over in the Middle East. Hard to distinguish between our friends and enemies there these days, it seems. The administration opposes Syrian President Assad, but Assad and Iraq They oppose ISIS, the rebels now taking territory the government helped create in Iraq. And now Israel has launched a ground invasion into the Gaza Strip. What do you make of all of this, and what would be your advice to the president?
It's to pay close attention. It's a terrible situation. It's almost as if that part of the world were blowing up, and we really need to be as strong, much stronger than we're being. The United States is the leader of the free world. We need to make sure that we remember that and take strong positions, and also take a position that says we expect international help, and I think we'll get it.
House Speaker John Boehner is suing the president. Where do you stand on that lawsuit? I'm
concerned that the president is not recognizing the position of the Congress.
And what we're supposed to do. And this is for delaying Obamacare and
right,
okay.
Right. And I've listened to. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know where we are legally, but I understand people are furious that the president is not following the laws that are passed by the Congress.
And in the time we have left, we just have to talk about the Monuments Men, because you approached this bill. You got it passed by the House to award a Congressional Gold Medal to the surviving Monuments Men, made into a movie, of course, with George Clooney saving all the artwork during World War II from the Nazis. Why was it so important to you? And good for you to get it passed.
Thank you. It was a story, one of the only stories of World War II that had never been told. And so a Dallas author, who was really not a writer, who uncovered this and wrote three wonderful books about the Monument Men. He told me, and I said, we should recognize these people.
Did you like the movie?
I liked the movie very much. Particularly the man named Granger that was part of the Monuments Men, who has no connection to me whatsoever. It was fun.
Congresswoman, thanks for coming by this morning. Always a pleasure to have you. Welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Coming up, he may be the most powerful and controversial